Hi, Victoria here from HBA and Compass, the Bookkeeper Hub and author of Zest for Success. Still in my car studio, recording away, as I mentioned before, my bulk videos, which is fine. I'm quite okay that you know that they're a bulk video. Still on business licenses. We spoke yesterday about business names, company names, trademarks and patents. Today we're going to talk about some other business licenses that you may need. Now, depending on the industry you're in, there may be industry-specific licenses that you need to have. So, for instance, I'm in Queensland, and I know they have the same thing in different states, but Queensland has a thing for people involved in the building industry called the QBCC, which is the Queensland Business Construction Commission, I think is what it's called. And if you are going to invoice people for anything to do with construction with a value over $3,000, you need to be licensed with the QBCC. So the logic behind that is that there's an application process and then there's an annual review of your company's assets. And it's to make sure that the contractors or the head contractors that are being used are people who are in business, who have assets behind them and are potentially not going to close their business down and not pay people, or to make sure that whatever your project is that's being completed will get completed without someone going out of business. So there's all kinds of different industry licenses. I'm sure other states and different industries have them. So chances are, if you do have a skill that's in a particular industry, you will have known about that license. Other business licenses that you may come across can be really annoying, niggly ones. So, for instance, if you have a cafe and you have seating on the footpath, or just have a cafe in general, there's about 3 or 4 different licenses that you have to have. You have to go to your local council and get a food license to make sure that you're allowed to prepare food in the kitchen. And they'll send the health inspector, I don't know what the term is these days, I'm sure it's got a politically correct name, but the health inspector will come out and check the cleanliness of your kitchen, will check your processes, check the temperature of your fridges, make sure that the food's not going to go off. You need to have a food service license. If you're selling food on a footpath, you might have outside dining. There'd be an additional council fee to be able to do that. If you're having music playing through your cafe or your restaurant, then you need to have a license fee to APRA, which is a fee that goes back to the recording artists for being able to play music. So there's all kinds of little licenses and things that, whatever your industry is, you need to have a think about and maybe even ask other people in that industry what licenses are applicable. And you know the best way to ask that? Go back into your Facebook groups and ask what they are. So, for instance, if I'm in a plumber's Facebook group, I can go in there and go, hey guys, about to start my own business, what licenses do I need to know about? And the savvy people in the group, or the people who are there to help you, will come up with a response. Now, it may not be another plumber, it could be an accountant who happens to be in that group and is giving relevant content, or it could be another plumber. There could be a group for cafe owners. I don't know. There's millions and thousands of groups out there, but asking for the details of what the licenses are mean that when you're setting your business up, you can do it right. When you're doing your budgets, you can do it right. And most importantly, you're not going to have some big bad ogre come down and shut your business down because you haven't got the relevant license. Because I could think of nothing worse than opening my own cafe, and then in week 3 the council realises you're there and comes in and go, you haven't got a food licence, you haven't got that, shut it down. I think of nothing worse than that. You put all your life savings or whatever it is into a business to create it, and someone comes out of left field and shuts you down. While I'm on industry licenses, just keep in mind that real estate agents, there are specific licenses for them, and also for car yards and car dealers. Just a very specific one about that. Now, if you are employing staff, one thing that you really need to do is make sure that you have workers' compensation. Now, different states have different insurance schemes or insurance policies for workers' compensation. But what it is basically an insurance that you take out for your staff so that if they are injured at work or going to and from work, that their medical bills and in some instances their actual pay is compensated to them. Now in Queensland it's called Work Cover Queensland. I don't know what they are in the other states. The actual fee or the premium that you have is based on the number of, or the amount of wages that you have, but also industry specific percentages depending on, I suppose, how risky it is versus unrisky. So an office job would obviously have a less of a premium than someone who's climbing up a scaffold or something like that. Now it is mandatory if you have staff that you have workers' compensation. So very important to think of that. And we're probably going to get into it in later chapters, but workers' comp have been very active lately in looking at who is staff and who are contractors. So yeah, I will go into this in more detail in a later blog, but if you have contractors who really are just providing labour to you on a regular basis, then you probably should think about covering them for workers' compensation as well. It's a vital thing, and I know that I've had staff that have been injured and they've been off for weeks getting treatment. You don't want to be paying their wages. That's what you pay your workers' comp for. So that's another type of licence or fee that you need for your business. And that's really probably covers what I've got. Apart from ATO registrations, now we're going to talk to them. We're only in Chapter 5 of Zest for Success at the moment going through. Chapter 12, we talk about all things ATO. Your eyes probably glaze over thinking about that. Yeah, I know all about it. I'm an accountant, but we are going to get into it and we are going to make sure that you are doing the right things in your business. So please bear with me. Keep watching the videos. Take the best content that you can get out of it, the to-dos, and I'll see you on the other side.